back. Talk the thing is back. And
Yes.
or is he with Mobsy?
Some good results on the weekend there to discuss.
Oh boy. Blues on us this weekend, man. Blues on us this weekend there. But so it go.
Some expensive performances, you know. Yeah.
Before we start, we will share the live, try and give everybody an opportunity to join on with us. Let me just see here.
Yes,
So I hope everybody's doing good. Eventful weekend in the English Premier League.
Yeah. I know all fans will not be happy.
But it's times like now you see who is fans and who is fair weather fans, you know what I'm saying? So
correct.
we take it all lumps, that's how it goes. So yeah, so we're gonna go through the results as we did, as we've been doing, and we'll talk about the games that we watched and what impressed us, what the talking points are from the weekend. There's also some big news coming from Manchester United today pertaining a particular player. We'll go over that and our thoughts on that. And then obviously, as we normally say, if anybody wants to join the chat, join us. Everybody's free. We open you guys to join us on the live. I'm gonna share the.
What's your thoughts?
Yes. I'm gonna share the link that you could click on to join us live. Come on, give your opinion. Obviously, this is a family show, so we don't want nobody to take it crazy. But so this link that I just posted here, I'm gonna start it at the top, and you guys can click on this link if you want to join us. Once you get on, we'll let you on. You can give your opinion. If you want to join us video, that's fine. If you want to join us audio, that's fine as well. And with no further ado, let's go into the results from this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start with the game that happened on Friday. That game was against Sheffield United and Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
And that game was a late winner by Chris Wood for Nottingham Forest. Early and late goal for Nottingham Forest, but that's a huge win for them. You watch that game?
Yeah, I watched that one done. Not Forest kind of dominate the proceedings. Sheffield hung in there until the end, but yeah, it wasn't to be for them.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest had a tight game with Arsenal the weekend before, so it's good that they came back and bounced back and got a win. Mm-hmm. I think for teams like Nottingham Forest, Sheffield United, when they play each other, it's huge games. It's 3 points that they have to be aiming for to try to stay in the English Premier League.
Yep.
In case people don't understand the repercussions behind why these games are so big, right? If a team that's dropped from the top league in England, which is the English Premier League, they lose about £100 million between dropping to the next division. So you're talking about a lot of money that they lose.
In many cases, they have to fire staff, restructure their whole operations.
Yes. And maybe one day we should have a show where we kind of go through the structure of football, how the salaries work, how or the contracts are negotiated, transfer window, all these things. So the people that don't really follow the game, they could learn a little bit, because I've been getting a lot of questions about certain things, and maybe we could dive into that one day a little bit.
Yeah.
Man. The next game we had was Saturday morning early. This was a big game as well. City and Newcastle. Tight game.
Yeah, that was a tight game, man. Newcastle defended for the most of the game, but a moment of brilliance from that striker. What's his name again? Alvarez.
Yes.
Difference, man.
Yes, that was a big goal for City. I think City is obvious that City missing Kevin De Bruyne, but they still find a way to get it done.
Yeah.
More often than not, they will. What's that?
More often than not, they will find a way.
Yeah. Against Newcastle, which is another top 4 team. So that was a big win for City. Right now, City sitting on top of the table there with 6 points. They haven't considered a goal yet for the year, actually. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think they won their first game, what, 3-0? Now they scored this one goal. So the next game, boy, the big talking point was the United and Spurs.
Yeah.
United lost this one 2-0. Spurs won, and deservedly so, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, and we can get back to it. We'll just keep going down the line, and we can come back to the main games and run through it. But either way, United lost this game. Spurs had created a lot of good chances. United had some good chances early in the game, and Anthony hit the post as well. But overall balance of play. Even as a United fan, I would say Spurs deserve to win this one. So
Agreed.
yes, yes. The next game going down the docket, Brighton. A big performance against Wolves, dominated that game, winning the game 4-1. That was huge. Brighton coming to not just to be around, they stamping their authority, and they showing that they're there to stay.
Yeah.
So
They beating teams that they should beat.
yes, for
So
sure. I
you climb
mean,
the table.
yes, yes. I mean, this is a big win for them.
Yeah.
And does that Brighton they won last weekend, right? Let me just scroll down.
Last week, yeah.
Yeah. So now they have two games, and they both for the game have been won 4-1. So Brighton, they come out the blocks firing, for scoring goals and playing well.
Yeah.
So Liverpool next game played Bournemouth and won that game 3-1.
Big win.
Big win for Liverpool. You
Shaky,
had
but
let me
big win.
just click into the game there. You had Luis Diaz, Salah, and Jota on the scoring sheet for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Former Liverpool player Dominic Solanke with an assist against his old team.
Yeah.
Good player. But Bournemouth, I mean, I think overall Liverpool, they did well in this game, deserved to win this game. It was tight for a little bit, but Jota,
Yeah. Shaky start, but we come through.
yeah, Jota gave only a big goal there to give only a little breathing room,
Yeah.
because we all know one goal leading England is nothing.
Yeah. For sure.
The next game we have on the docket, Brentford beat Fulham 3-0. And Brentford started the season really well, actually. Did they? No, did they? What happened to them last week?
They drew with Spurs last
Yes,
week, I
yes.
believe. Yeah.
So Brentford started the season really well, even without their star striker Ivan Toney.
Yeah.
So Brentford has been doing well as well. Started the season 3-0. Let's look at it. We had Wissa with a goal and Mbeumo with 2 goals.
Yeah.
Let's go down. So that was all Saturday. Sunday morning, we had another big London derby.
The big team gets scalped.
Boy. That midfield was what? About 300 million, and
Yeah.
West Ham put, pass their hand on them there. But 3-1. West Ham deserved to win that game, I would say. I think on the balance of play, West Ham created the better chances. And
For sure. On the
you had
balance of play.
Enzo miss a penalty, and you had Caicedo that conceded a penalty. So, big midfield players making key plays that that hurt their team. So we'll see how it goes for Chelsea. Then you had the next game, Aston Villa bounced back after they had a big loss against Newcastle last week. They
Yeah.
bounced back and put Everton to the sword.
Everton was dismantled, to say the least.
Yes. I think Everton is one of the teams this year that look like they'll be in a little bit of trouble. They look like they're gonna be in trouble, because I don't see the moment they lose Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and that guy seems to always get injured for some reason. We'll see how it pans out for Everton. But Villa looks like a very, very good team. They have a very good striker. This guy they signed, the French guy Diaby, he hit the ground running. So
A very interesting formation as well.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
You have the Caribbean man, the Leon Bailey, Jamaican guy, playing really well as well. So we'll see what Villa has to challenge the top 4 this year. And then this afternoon you had the tight game, Crystal Palace hosting Arsenal. Arsenal won that game 1-0 just based on a penalty by Martin Odegaard, their captain. And you had Arsenal actually went down to 10 men in that game because Tomiyasu got sent off for 2 yellow cards.
Yeah.
But
last 20 minutes or so, they had to weather the storm, but they make it.
Yeah, man. So Arsenal, I think after that red card, I think it happened around the 68th, 69th minute. They had to,
Yeah.
like you say, weather this storm for the next 25 minutes or so until they see off the game.
Yeah.
Controversial call, in the box on what's the young player name there? For Crystal Palace.
Oh, easy. Yeah.
Easy, yeah. Controversial call. They didn't give him penalty after he kind of walk around Declan Rice. But that's how it goes with the referees and stuff.
2 weekends running now, we have had a lot of questionable refereeing decisions in the league.
Yep, that's a big topic now. Big talking point. VAR. And the refereeing and stuff like that. So we could go into that a little bit as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, anybody who's tuned in, thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys want to call, give your opinion on the games, we are really open to that. We really appreciate it if you guys call in. We have some comments already. Arteta need to stop playing guys out of the normal position. We have good for Chelsea. Lead them with like I said, though. that man's a Liverpool fan, I suspect. Yeah, man. But now let's go back to some of the big talking points. So we'll go back to Friday. We had like we said, what game we had? What game we had on Friday? Friday we had the game of
Forest.
Forest. Yeah, Forest won that game late.
Yeah.
Then the next big game was Newcastle and City. Like we said, City found a way to get it done. Julian Alvarez. Seems
Yeah.
like without Kevin De Bruyne, Haaland, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what he have, but you're gonna miss Kevin De Bruyne for
I feel
sure.
like generally in games against decent opposition, he tends to kind of drop off a bit. He doesn't really. He scores against the teams where he makes some of the lower league teams. He'll put two and three past them, but the games where it's tight, he tends to disappear a bit. So I'll keeping an eye on that for the season to see, especially with Kevin De Bruyne out for a couple months now. The chances might not be as thick and fast as they normally are.
Yeah, because Kevin De Bruyne are going to be out till basically 4 months. We're looking around Christmas, somewhere around then, Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving, somewhere around there. So, we'll see how that affects Haaland.
Yeah.
Next game on the docket, United. United look lethargic again. Second week in a row. We were out of it. We didn't look like we had any kind of pattern to our play. We didn't look like we had a plan.
Yeah.
I think the manager, honestly, it reminds me of when we played Barcelona in that 2009 final, where Fergie, if you remember, Fergie went all out in the first 10, 15 minutes to try to get the first goal.
Yeah.
And we didn't get that first goal. And then after that, Barcelona basically just took us to the cleaners. It kind of reminded me of that game because Ten Hag made a lot of comments about the chances that we didn't take up front, scoring the first goal and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I mean, I will say, we as football fans, we know goals changes games. And there were a couple of clear cut as can be chances. Like Bruno missed a very open header in the 6-yard box. Like these type of chances, if you don't take them, you're asking for trouble.
Yep.
And they get
and
the
it, and,
asking for.
and it wasn't even close. Some of these chances that they missed, the clear cut chances that they missed wasn't even close.
Several times in the first half, in the first 10, 15 minutes, Garnacho go through 1v1, Rashford in the middle, the wrong decisions being made when they're supposed to cut it back, they're not cutting it back. I mean, it doesn't seem like you don't get the idea that they have a clear idea what they're doing on the training ground and how they want to approach the final third. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I have a little bit of a bone to pick with the manager because I feel as if we started we saw them in preseason. They looked fairly decent, although they lost 3 games in the preseason. But in preseason you don't pay attention to results too much. You kind of look at how the players, how the team is playing and stuff. And we come into the season, we play the game against Wolves, absolutely terrible. With Mason Mount and Casemiro in the midfield, with Bruno kind of floating, kind of number 10, if you want to call it that. And Casemiro basically was left on his own and he was overrun in that Wolves game.
Yeah.
And then the manager, okay, fine, we won the game, controversially, because penalty maybe we should have been conceded, but we won the game. And then, okay, I understand he puts out the same team for the next game because he figures, okay, this is the team that I want to play. And then they go they go at the end of the first half, and I heard him say how, he thought we had a good half, and I didn't agree. I think Spurs hit the crossbar in that half. Like Spurs had good chances as well.
Yeah.
So for him to come out and say, well, we had a good half and all that, nah. And then he picked Rashford again up front, which is an absolute waste. Like Rashford up front, I understand if Garnacho on the left wing is performing, you want to give the young man confidence. But Garnacho has not started the season hot. So I don't understand why he's persisting with playing Rashford up front. I don't know.
I myself, I cannot really see any reason for it because it's one thing if he not scoring goals, but his general play is good. He holding up the ball. He not doing anything well up there. Whenever you give him a ball, is the attack dies.
Yep.
I really don't get it.
I listened to Dwight York talk this afternoon. He was on Talksport. One of the comments he made was, to be a good number 9, that is something you have to practice. You have to train. You
Yeah,
have to have it. Playing your back to goal. And and Dwight York made a good point. It's like a club the size of United. It might even make sense to bring a guy you have from the under 19s or the under 23s if he's a striker to play there instead of playing Rashford because
yeah,
Rashford up there is a waste. The man is arguably your best player, right? Maybe Bruno Fernandes, I would say, is the best player we have, but Rashford is up there in terms of his importance to the team, and you playing him in a position that he cannot really hurt the opposition. So
yeah,
I have to say that this loss I given it to the manager. As much as the players, I feel need to take responsibility, but the manager have to take the L for that loss because I don't feel like he made changes the changes in time. At the half, I feel like changes should have been made, right then and there. You give them man another chance. They ain't playing well. Drag a couple guys out. We have 5 subs now. We don't have 3 subs anymore. So you could,
but I
you
believe
know,
Ten Hag has had a big enough sample size of Rashford playing up front to know that it doesn't work. Even last year when they lost 7-0, most teams come into Liverpool and they targeting Trent on the right side. You would think he would put Rashford there to really get at Trent that have some defensive frailties. He still put him up front.
and not Trent, and Rashford has had success against Trent in the past.
Yeah,
So, you think about it, again, that's one of the things that, as a manager, you would think that these are some of the things that these guys are thinking about. We're obviously not managers on that level, but watching the game enough,
training we don't seeing who does.
I don't know but training is one thing. I mean, you hear stories of players who never train and they come on a match day and play well. So a
Yeah,
man might be playing well in training, but if you're not bringing the goods on a Saturday or Sunday, then it's time for you to change something. So I look forward to see what he's doing next because we have some big games coming up. We have Arsenal on the horizon. We have City in early October.
you have Brighton and
Yeah,
Arsenal in the next couple of games.
yeah. So that's gonna be.
That always struggle with Brighton. I'm swat them aside. So
Yep. If we go into those games doing anything like what we did, we're gonna be in trouble. We're gonna
true.
be in trouble.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what Ten Hag. That's why they pay these guys in big bucks. You have to figure it out.
Yeah.
The next news that was coming out of United today was big news. Was that Mason Greenwood, young attacking player. I wouldn't call him a striker. I guess he could play strike. He could play wing. But young attacking player, 20, 21 years old, was arrested when 2022, I
2020.
think early 2022 for domestic violence. Um, and the club had basically put him on leave. They were paying him, while he was on leave, and everything was being investigated. I think February this year, the Crown Prosecution Service dropped the charges and said that they didn't have enough evidence to take the case forward. And Manchester United then released a statement saying that they're going to be doing their own investigation, or they were doing their own investigation
Yeah.
as to what transpired and how they were going to move forward with this young player. Very promising young player. He started his career really, really well. But today the news came out that Manchester United was going to move on from Mason Greenwood. So they mutually agreed to terminate his contract. and I think that gives him the opportunity to pursue his career elsewhere apart from Old Trafford. So we had obviously we had our own conversations about it, within our group chats and everything, and what are your thoughts on that, Brad?
The problem I have with that whole thing is I understand if they went for or against, if they let him go, if they keep him, but the statement the club put out was very conflicting. It go into detail saying, they did the investigation and they found that he didn't do the things he was accused of. But then at the same time they're saying they're gonna part ways with him. So it didn't really make sense to me. If you're saying he didn't do those things, then what is the rationale for letting him go? You know what I mean? Like the statement a bit contradictory.
Yeah, because one of the things he said, Richard Arnold, who's the CEO of Manchester United, he said that they did an investigation. They realized that some of the stuff that came out in social media was doctored and
Yeah,
stuff like that. So it's a little bit confusing. I mean, I have to agree. It's a little bit confusing that you're basically coming out saying that the guy was accused of something. Yes, he maybe his behavior was not right, but he was accused of something that what we saw as a public was not the entire story. Obviously, the police didn't think they have enough to prosecute him, or whatever evidence they have was not enough. And then you still decide to let him go. Again, I think it comes down to the court of public opinion and what type of backlash they maybe thought they would have gotten from female fans and people who are against reinstating him. With every particular scenario, you're gonna have people for and against. So
yeah.
I feel like in society today, we don't get people don't get second chances as much as they maybe should, right? If this is a young guy, I know sometimes sports tends to trump people's personality, right? When they good, but I feel like if you're gonna have a young guy in there, and okay, he might have a problem, maybe his temper, whatever. Why doesn't the club say, well, you know what, we're gonna stick with him. We're gonna work with him to try to, rehabilitate him and try to. If something happens, maybe you tell him, listen, the next time, I don't care what happens. If something else happens, then yes, this is the agreement. But to just, terminate the contract, I mean, I'm pretty sure that somebody else within the Premier League will give Mason Greenwood a chance because he's a very very good player. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, yeah,
I just check in like a lot of the public backlash was in response to the supposed conduct, what he was charged for. Attempted whatever and violence and whatever. So if the club is saying that they did a thorough investigation and it revealed that these accusations were not true, I struggling to see why they parting ways, why they letting him go if he didn't do those things, and they clarifying that in the statement and saying they're gonna help him move on and stuff. It just doesn't make sense to me.
yeah. I don't understand how they're gonna help him move on. He's not an employee anymore. So
Well, I
how
read that they're still trying to decide if they're gonna send him somewhere on loan or terminate the contract. The only thing they clarify is that he will not play for the club again. In my mind, what would be the point of sending him on loan if he not
I
gonna?
yeah, I don't get it. Maybe they I don't know because to be honest, I think this spells of a larger issue at Manchester United overall as an organization. I feel like everything is chaos. Everything is chaos from the sale of the club to the transfer market to players and player power and all those things that you've heard in the past. Like
Yeah,
everything is just in shambles. It's just ridiculous for an organization of the size of Manchester United. It's pretty much incompetence. You could say that the club is operating in this manner. So I mean, people who don't like the Glazers will tell you, well, this is all you know, uh, uh, um, uh, 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 what's the word I'm looking for? This is all part of them leading the club, and they're not doing a good job, and all of these different things. Um, at the end of the day, the club has made a decision. Whether or not we agree with it, that's a different story. But we have to just wait and see what happens.
I
Similar scenario over in Manchester City, right? With Benjamin Mendy,
yeah
right? That guy was also charged with rape actually, and I think he had what 10 or 11 counts
yeah
or something like that.
something
and he
like
was found. Yeah, he was found not guilty on every single one of them.
that. Yep.
And right now, Manchester City, contrary to United, did pay him when he was going through all his investigations. Now he has to sue them to make his money, which is, to me, is wrong, right? If somebody is charged with something, the person is innocent until you could prove that they did it.
Yep.
And I understand that, obviously, if he has 10 counts, you might say, well, maybe he was doing something wrong, but, he's been found, so what's the point of the court system if we're not going to take the word of the court system, right? If we're just going to go by the court of public opinion all the time, then we might as well not try people in court. We might as well just ask Twitter what we think and make a decision.
And I guess contractually, if City didn't pay him pending the result of the thing and it come out that he was not guilty, they need to pay him because
Yep.
otherwise, what was the rationale for not paying him? An accusation from somebody that these things happen all the time. There's no proof that it was or wasn't true. He had his day in court. He needs to be paid. And then with
Exactly.
Bruno, I see no reason why, with the charges being dropped months and months ago, I see no reason why the club's investigation had to drag on into a new season. You know what I mean?
Again, incompetence. Because to me, I don't understand. This thing happened in early last year. The Crown Prosecution Service made their determination in February. The season didn't end until like June. So you telling me like that 6 months, 3-4 months there, that decision could have been made. At least the manager would have gone into the transfer window knowing that, okay, we're not getting this guy back, or we are getting this guy back.
Yeah.
Help with whatever plans he's making, or whatever the case is. But I don't know, man. I think we have to United as a club. We need help. So if anybody know any competent people, have them send their resume to Old Trafford. Maybe they can help us fix this
The
thing.
owners hiring their people, and they have a history of hiring people who are financially inclined, finance inclined, but as far as football operations, they're a bit clueless.
Yep, yep. I mean, this guy that's there now, he doesn't sound as bad as the last guy who was there,
But
Woodward.
it remains to be seen.
But I don't know. I mean, this his first big decision. I don't know. I personally don't agree with it. But then again, I'm not in these positions. I'm sitting here on top of the thing, talking about it instead of making the decision. So I
Yeah.
have to just live with it. So anyway, the next game we had was a Liverpool. Let's go to. We can talk about the Liverpool game, Brad, and what your thoughts are.
Yeah. Well, we started slow again. Well, we didn't start slow last week against Chelsea, but this week we started slowly. Sloppy passes, nerves. We had a scare. The first minute of the game, they had a long ball mix up in the defense. They put it in, and it ended up being called offside. We didn't take the warning sign. The very next play, a ball to Trent, simple pass, Trent miscontrol them and get an early goal. And that was our problem last season. Every game we were conceding first, then we have to chase the game. When you operate like that, it makes it difficult because the first goal sometimes it galvanizes the team. Then they defend deep and try to hold on to the lead. So, but luckily we were able to come back. We have some of our new signings showing a lot of promise. Soboslai looking really good.
Yeah, right. That guy looking really good.
Yeah, if we can get we had another signing last week there, the Asian guy Endo. He come in and look really good as well. Controversial decision in the game. A red card for McAllister, which I thought was absolutely ridiculous.
Mm.
But what can you do? Referee making a decision, VAR looking at it, they confirming it, and when you look at it, you're not seeing what they really giving those red cards for. But
Yeah.
luckily, we were able to secure a third goal and see out the win. But generally, we have some areas to improve in terms of our midfield and the way we manage in games. We still conceding way too many chances. Teams having too many opportunities to shoot on our goal. You're gonna meet a Brighton or a Newcastle, who we playing this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
They will capitalize on them chances. So
Boy,
hopefully they can sort it out.
so I saw a little bit of that game. Like I said, the new signing there. So how you pronounce his name?
So Soboslai.
Soboslai. That man look good in the midfield. That man look very good in the midfield. I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like overall the officiating is something that is a little bit questionable so far to start the year. VAR hasn't been making consistent calls.
Yeah,
Even in the Arsenal game today, we had a call that was a little bit controversial. With the red card that was given to the left back. Because when they played it back, Kai Havertz had the ball in his hand for like 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and then he just passed the ball to the guy, and like 5 seconds later, the referee gives him a yellow card.
there was no grabbing or pulling or anything. I don't know what the referee was seeing.
Yep. So the
Did
ref,
VAR
the ref,
reveal a particular call?
no, they cannot because the rule is if it's a yellow card, they cannot
Ah,
review
yeah, it was a
yellow cards.
low.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if it was a straight red, they maybe would have rescinded it, but or but
yeah.
yeah, I think that was a little harsh on Tommy Asu there, and Arsenal. I don't know. Can they even appeal 2 yellow cards? I don't think so.
I'm not sure. What the players need to realize the way the officiating going. You need to not give yourself these silly yellow cards in the first half, and then managers also have to make decisions. I think in the Man U's game last week,
Hmm.
um, Martinez got a early one.
Martinez. Yep.
The manager took him off.
Yep.
I think managers need to consider doing the same.
Yeah, because and the other thing to know in the type of player, right? So like for example, Martinez is a player that's not gonna hold back in the tackle. So if you have that man on the field with a yellow card, it's especially early in the game, it's a little risky.
Yeah,
But I feel like, listen, at the end of the day, you're gonna get yellow card, like the second yellow for Tomiyasu. Those things are gonna happen, right? Those type of calls. But players need to be more mindful, I feel, of not getting the foolish yellow cards of arguing with the referee or
yeah.
kicking the ball away
Time
or
wasting.
those time wasting, those type of things. Because one yellow card, even again the game against Wolves, right? I think it was Martinez himself. He got the early yellow, and then one of the guys was the midfielder was running on the field, and he had to just let him go because if he stopped him, it's another yellow, right? And that's you don't want to be in them kind of
And that's what happened in the Chelsea game as well. Anyway, some player got the red card. He got a silly yellow in the first half. Manager keep him on.
Yep.
Get another yellow. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So those are two games that we went through. So now the next big game, we're gonna go to a Sunday morning, boy. West Ham and Chelsea.
London Derby, boy. Yeah.
Chelsea. Oh, we have a caller. Before we get into the London Derby, let's bring the caller in. Caller, you live. Caller, go ahead.
We live. Good evening, fellas. Good evening. How are you doing?
Yes, sir. Good evening. We
How you
good.
doing?
I wanted to call and chime in, man, on my team, of course, as you can
Yeah.
see.
What's your thoughts, man?
We're representing. But I feel like it's more of the same from last year, if I'm being honest. Like last year we started off slow, we back to the same thing again. And I noticed something last year. It seems to me every time we had a bad result or a loss, whether it be a loss or a draw or just the team didn't play well, I don't know if Ten Hag trying to give the players a chance to do better, or if he's trying to prove a point to somebody at his own detriment. The man always want to play the exact same team after we have a bad result or a controversial result. Like why would you not put in so many changes into the team? And why is Rashford playing up top? That makes no sense. The man scored 40 goals from the left last season. What is he doing at striker? The man can't turn his back to goal and hold up the ball for half a second to let the team get up the field. I don't understand it.
Yeah. So
So
what,
who
what
you think? Go ahead, Brad.
I was gonna ask, what do you think needs to change?
What do I think needs to change? Honestly, I hoping that the loss will push the ownership and the higher ups to bring in some more talent, especially in the midfield. And they've been talking about Amrabat all transfer period or transfer window. We had to see a bid put in for the man. Bring somebody in. They bring Mount in as the first signing, and to me, Mount is somebody that should be deputizing for Bruno. You know, I'm saying Mount is a more advanced player on the field. Like he's not somebody I'm going to. Not to say, I mean, Mount can't put a shift defensively, but he's not the cover you'd want for Casemiro. Hopefully, I mean, he makes me eat my words, you know. Hopefully, further down in the season, a couple more games, we give him some time. I don't want to judge him too early. Hopefully, the man come good, right? But from what I've seen so far, Mount isn't it. That midfield not working together. So I mean, either Ten Hag have to change something on the training pitch, get them on some different instructions, or they have to bring somebody that can play next to Casemiro. But what I mean, what I'd like to see is for Menu to come back and hopefully get his chance in the team
What
and
about
take ownership of
McTominay?
the role. Mick who? That man still there?
You wouldn't
Hey
like to
brother,
see him giving
But
a run out next to Casemiro then?
my brother, all the mix in that team should be shipped out. McTominay, McGuire, all them. They need to go. They shouldn't be there. Honestly, no, but seriously, McTominay is a decent squad player, man. I wouldn't
but
mind him
Chief,
to McTominay.
Chief, in
Mm,
light of what you just said about Mount, right?
mm,
Um, and seeing, for example, when we play against a team like Brighton or we
mm.
play Arsenal, bro, we cannot. There's no way we
No,
can
no.
have only Casemiro in that midfield, bro.
That man will get overrun, bro. And it's not like
There's no
Casemiro
way.
have young legs on him. You check the man can't run whole game chasing two free midfield players by himself. Bruno self want to play like a second striker. Like we need
But
the numbers
but
in midfield.
but even that, right? And I've told you guys that, in my opinion, Bruno is not a midfielder.
No, Bruno not a
Bruno,
midfielder.
to me, Bruno is a second striker. Bruno is not
Yeah,
a
and the thing
midfielder.
is, he's very good at what he does, and you have to keep him. You have to keep him playing where he plays well. You have to let
And
Bruno get up, get forward.
that's the point, right? So when you have players, you as a manager, your job as a manager, to me, in any industry, is
Hmm.
you put your people in the places that they're gonna perform the best.
Exactly.
You give them the resources and you give them everything they need so that when you leave them, right, they're gonna perform their best. And I feel like Ten Hag is failing at that because he keeps putting players who are not, good in certain positions because he's trying to stop gap. For
Yeah.
example, it looks like, and Gary never made that point. It looks like he just doesn't like McTominay. But I understand. I'm not the biggest McTominay fan. But if you're talking about somebody that could work alongside Casemiro, he's maybe better than Mount in that role.
Oh, hundred
If that
percent.
if that's how you want to play. So
Yeah.
if that's how you want to play, then maybe you keep Mount to come off the bench, right? And
Hmm.
and and for now, until you maybe sign a Amrabat or somebody like that, that could kind of
Hmm.
sit. It doesn't look like he wants to play with the two defensive midfielders. Christian Eriksen comes in, he doesn't have the legs anymore.
Yeah.
He's also an
And the
attacking
thing is,
player as well.
Christian Eriksen not a defensive-minded player. Like
Right,
you playing
right.
him deeper, but he not putting in the defensive shift. You check. He just a body. I mean, he taking up space. He making it harder for them to play for us a little bit. But overall, Christian Eriksen not going and take the ball off an opponent player too often and progress it forward. I mean, the progressing part he'll do very well, but turning the ball over from the opposition, he's not going to do.
Yeah,
And
Yeah, yeah.
that's the problem. I mean, McTominay not very good at it either, but he would sit his ass back in the defense more often than Ericsson would. I tell you that.
And one of the things I think that and I think our wingers are absolutely terrible. Like,
Oh my!
our wingers are absolutely terrible
What?
because you bring in Onana, right? And you say that you wanted a player that could be comfortable with the ball, spray it to the wing and stuff like that. Right? I saw Onana spray a ball to Garnacho, and then Garnacho just turn around and lose the ball. Like,
And just
drop
my
the
brother,
ball.
that ball was pitch inch
You know,
perfect, bro.
it's
yeah.
like
Inch
if
perfect balling.
then I watched the guy from Villa, DRB and them. I watching the guy. I'm like, why we don't buy them kind of players? Why we
Mm-hmm.
going after Anthony at 90 million pounds and Anthony cannot even stand up on his right foot? Like, it's
So,
crazy.
so far, the recruiting side of things is a bit questionable. He has gone after some former players. I mean,
Yeah,
Martinez.
it seems he's going after players he's familiar or comfortable with.
You can't tell me if Ten Hag coach Anthony in Holland and sanction a $90 million payment for him. I can't. I struggle to believe it.
Well,
But
I
this
have to think that I mean Anthony really young still, so maybe Ten Hag checking. Well, he had some good progression during the time that he had with him, so he expected him to continue progressing. I don't knock him for the purchase, man. I can understand where Ten Hag thought that Anthony could turn into a superstar because he seems like he has the tools. He seems like he has the tools. He
it
just
seemed
not
like
putting it together.
The players
seemed
have a
like
bit
every
tools there in the
it
history
seemed,
I
of
mean,
football.
that's the thing, but you never know who's going to put it together.
it seemed
Well,
like
we,
every player we buy have the tools, but they don't know how to.
I mean, Shiv, we've seen 2 seasons of Sancho now.
Hmm.
Seen a season of Anthony. I mean, players can come good. I mean, Salah was labeled a flop at Chelsea, but Salah didn't get the opportunities at Chelsea. Anthony
Hmm.
playing all season. He never. As a defender, it would be very easy to defend Anthony. I would rather give him that curl left foot shot every day, and let
Oh,
him.
for sure.
I know
because
you're going
yep,
right.
yep.
My brother, honestly, if I was defending a man, I'd force him to go outside because it seems he don't want to go.
It's
As a
too
defender, I'd
it's
show
too
him the
easy to defend.
outside.
Yeah, man. But anyway, that's how it is. I mean, we'll see what happens. We have some big games coming up. To be
Yeah.
honest,
My brother,
football is
hopefully, to the point Dwayne was making about playing players out of position, bro. That man doing that with two people. He doing that with the our two best players, honestly, right? He doing that with Bruno and he doing it with Rashford. The man putting Rashford up top for his first two games. First two games, Rashford not at say a minute on the left wing. The man is our best player on the left wing. Why are you downgrading the left wing and not even upgrading the striker with the move, right? The man should be playing Rashford on the left and whoever you think you can fit in striker in the meantime, if with whether it be Sancho, it be Martial, because Martial obviously fit enough to be on the bench. Play the man. Or you know what I'm saying? And then Bruno, the man making subs, Bruno starting at the 10. Why you shifting Bruno to the right side to accommodate more players in the midfield? Like leave Bruno
no,
at the 10, put a different
no,
wing
but
on the pitch.
Bruno can play on the right. He plays really well on the right. But
No,
but
I
if,
think Bruno
if you
plays
ask
really well
me,
on the right, but
if you
Bruno is the
ask
best
me,
in the middle.
if you ask me, if you ask me, and I have
Mm.
a choice, I start in Mount at 10 and I start in Bruno right before I start Anthony. Sorry, right?
Shiv,
Even if Bruno got the pace.
I'll tell you one
Mm.
thing. I always maintain since all you acquire Bruno Fernandez is not going to work in a midfield free unless the other two are very, very good and have legs. And
Yeah.
Casemiro is good, but he doesn't have the legs.
Mm.
The person
Bruno
like him have
Bruno not a midfielder, man. Bruno not meant for a
that's what I'm
midfield
saying.
free.
So
Yeah. We need
to
to be
say
playing a
yeah,
double
you
pivot.
play in the middle, the formation have to change if you have to stay in the middle if you want to dominate that midfield because Mount not going
Mhm.
to help you dominate that midfield.
No, no.
And Ten Hag does seem to want to change this for his formation. He seems to be very rigid in that formation he want to play. But if it's not
Well,
working,
if anything, it looked like Ten Hag trying to play two advanced midfielders instead of two double pivots.
well,
But that's
Casemiro is not the man to leave there as a lone seat.
no, not at all, not at all. But this is if I'm not mistaken, this is how we played with Ajax. No, he played with two advanced midfielders, right? Or two CMs, two number eights, and then a six.
I
Because
I
he
think
had Van de Beek and he had De
yeah, Van
Jong,
de
and
Beek.
then somebody was playing holding, right? Or De Jong was playing the holding, something so.
Dion was playing midfield proper, man. He wasn't playing as far forward.
yeah.
Okay. So he was probably playing at eight and they had somebody else for the holding. But I think that's how he wants to play. It seems like that's how he's tried to set the team up coming into this season, even through preseason. It
But
seemed
he
like
don't have
that's
the
how
personnel.
we were trying to play.
Personnel
No,
for
we don't have the personnel to do it. Honestly, I think if Menu can show the promise that he showed in the Arsenal game and in through most of preseason, I think that man could be a very dangerous
but
combination with
I
Casemiro
wouldn't
for the double
use that
pivot.
as too much of a that sample size because
No, of course not. I mean, I don't want to put
preseason late.
too much
But
weight
I
onto a young
say
player as well.
a lot of fans
Uh,
question Ten Hag decision to sign Mount as for that midfield run. I mean, 2 games is not a long time to make a decision, but it proving to show that fans' concerns were right because if that is how you want to set up in midfield, you're not gonna have control over many teams
no, no.
at home or away.
Yep, that's right.
I don't know, man.
Anyway,
I feel the thing is Mount have too much license to get forward because Mount have the energy, right? He may
but
not
that's
be
not
the best
that.
tackler. I don't know
There's his
what his
game though.
tackling stats are like, if he's a great tackler or not. But if Mount can use that energy further back on the pitch and not get so far forward, let Bruno do the creating. Leave the creating for the creators, as my captain like to say. You check. If Bruno can stay forward and Mount can hold himself back a little bit and cover Casemiro in the midfield, I think he could do the job. But I think Ten Hag gave him too much license to get forward, or maybe he just want to get forward, following the tactics of the coach. I
I
don't know, but
I think you can players can change fundamentally, but I think it's from one position to another. Like you can take a striker and convert them to a winger, or winger to a striker. A player
mm,
like Mount have been playing an attacking role his entire life to now ask him to sit and
Yeah,
yeah,
defensive minded. It's gonna be
that's,
tough.
that's gonna be tough.
Like
Yep.
if the
yeah,
player
that's true.
said was like Klopp was shouting at him during the game, and after the game, he tell the media Klopp was shouting at him because he was getting too far forward.
Hmm.
He say sometimes he just forgets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is fundamentally the kind of player he is.
Yep.
I mean, and that's understandable, man. You can I can only hope because at this point, this is what we're stuck with, right? Because I mean, I would much rather see Mount adapt to the position than I would expect McTominay to improve from what we already know him to be. because we know that Mount fundamentally is a better player than McTominay. So if he could somehow mold this game to work a little bit deeper, is I mean it's a long shot, but this is the only hope that we can hang on to right now, other than the young kid Mano coming through and having a spectacular season, right? I mean this is the only thing we can hope for. So I have my eggs in that basket, honestly.
All right,
But
man. But
I'm
Steve,
yep.
we'll see because we want to talk a little bit about the big game that happened in London there. I,
We,
I I see we have fellas in the chat saying Chelsea FC, so I want to address them. I don't want it to make it a United
yeah,
thing,
man. Let's
but
not make it too much of a
fella,
United thing. I know we
fella,
have big
fella
United
say
fan base in the place.
no, fella. Look. We say man, poop, what fan say? Poop, man, you fans vented.
We,
Well,
Another
what
Chelsea
team that
fan
man
say.
supporting, my brother?
Another fan say no refunds on Mount Carmel. All right.
I will say
All
that
right.
last week before the season started, Chelsea fans was all over Facebook laughing Liverpool because some players showed them over said they're checking yeah, we back. Poch is in control, they were laughing everybody, making calling Liverpool names and stuff. I said that this is
Ah,
more, you don't guarantee success.
that is facts.
But
And
it proved to be true.
They prove it twice.
A team spent close to $1 billion, £1 billion on transfers.
pounds, yes,
And the
yes.
answer after the second week of the season is they need more players. Oh man, it's crazy. And their justification is, oh, but we're selling players too. Forget about the players they sell. The point is they spend $1 billion to bring players into the club.
Yeah.
Players I never heard of. Half of them I haven't even seen them on the pitch. It's just a shambles.
And then some of them players have not to forget 8 year contracts.
8 year deals.
Boy, Chelsea,
Mudrik.
Chelsea turn into a baseball team for sure.
I
Them
don't
kind
know.
of contracts there.
But anyway, they had a big game against West Ham. West Ham beat them 3-1. And
Yeah.
I would like a Chelsea fan to call in, tell me tactics. Call in and give me your
Yeah,
opinion,
we're talking tactics, man.
A team,
all the Chelsea fans.
a,
Well,
team,
Rajiv calling now while you saying Chelsea FC there.
a player like what's his name? The one West Ham signed there.
West
West
Ham.
The
West Ham.
midfielder, the corner, the set piece specialist there.
Oh, what pros?
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, like
what
one
pro?
was allowed to go West Ham unopposed by all the big clubs. Nobody was in for him. He went for like peanuts, 20 something mil.
I think 20 something mil, yeah.
Right?
My brother, I've been saying the same thing about Madison, you know.
I don't want to
Oh,
go back and forth, but I'm sure there are other teams that could have used that money. But the teams tend to look down on midfielders as in lower teams and teams that get relegated. But that's where the value is, in my opinion. I rather take the best player from Southampton than go and look for some $100 and something million player that I'm not sure. Like Caicedo, 21 years old, one season in the Premier League under his belt. £100 million is a lot of money. I don't
Yeah,
think
it's a lot.
I mean, he had a poor debut. I think he'll come better, and Chelsea will generally improve. But it's just shocking to see the amount of money spent, and the message is still that we need to spend more.
yeah, man. I think the thing is like I can't knock Chelsea signings. Well, the midfield signings anyway. Caicedo, from what I've seen of him, he looks like a very good player. Enzo as well, right? The thing is, when they come with such a high price tag, there's always going to be discussion about every little. Yeah, I said every little mistake, every little thing they do. There's going to be this accent that comes with their signing. So it just comes with the territory, man. But I think them players will come good for Chelsea. I'm also worried about Chelsea front line and what they're doing on that side of the pitch in terms of creating goals and scoring goals. Because
And
they
Also,
lose
I,
they
I
lose
said
the
no
most
Chelsea
threatening
fan.
person that I thought was on that attacking line in Nkunku. And I don't know how long that man gone. But I mean, where the goals coming from?
I said the Chelsea fan told me last night that he's concerned because anytime they get a new signing and they throw him on and he has a bad game, it ruins his Chelsea career. So I all I can do is hope that that ruined Caicedo career and then we'll take him for about half price.
Well, hey, my brother, I'd take it to trust me.
They want him for nothing more than 15 mil. And the other one, Lavia, I mean, yeah, he signed only in the week. He didn't really train, so he was on the bench. But I hope that's where he stayed for the season. He wasn't in the squad at all.
Why even forget this side, Mister? You know, my brother.
But I don't understand. I mean, if you're thinking about who Chelsea signed Lavia and they signed Caicedo, they had Enzo. So that's going to be their starting midfield.
That's going
Those
to be
three
a
guys.
starting. Oh, so who was in the midfield with them man over the weekend? No?
So you know that midfield three, the oldest player is Enzo, and he's only 22 years old.
Boss.
I mean, the
That
thing is,
means
the thing is for Chelsea is that they spend the money. But if those players live up to what they think they live up to, then Chelsea have a very, very good midfield for years to come.
For a long time, yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, football is a thing that's not played on paper; it's played on the field.
correct. In the Premier League,
Mhm.
particularly.
And that Premier League not popping. Nobody, people not coming to you and they're not scared anymore. I would say the only team I think that win games just based on that type of like fear is City, because people
Yeah.
just feel like City will find a way to win. But every other team I feel in the league, once they come, like teams always feel like they have a chance.
Yep.
So, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I think this year, bro, honestly, I genuinely feel like the Premier League this year is wide open, especially with Kevin De Bruyne going
Oh, my
down.
brother with De Bruyne injured.
I really disagree. I really not seen any team so far serious about challenging City.
When I say open, Brad, I don't say that City. I don't think City will win it. I think City will win it. What I'm saying is,
I don't think it will be close.
You don't think so?
Nope.
City will get to around 89, 90 points. The nearest challenger will be in the 70s, maybe late 70s for the most.
So you don't see Arsenal pushing them out like they did last year?
Arsenal
I don't see Arsenal getting the same points they got last year.
Arsenal squad this season, when the Champions League started, they started shuffling the pack. Arsenal are going to have some mixed results, in my opinion.
We have one more person looking to join us there. All right, Chief. Thanks for calling us, man. And hopefully you call back on future shows, buddy. All right?
Yes,
Yeah, man, fellas. Bless up. Thanks for having me.
All right, ground God. No go. Later.
That's fine.
Yes, all for each marketing. I don't know what that is, but go ahead and give your views. You're live. Can you hear us?
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, man, we're hearing you. Good.
Okay, so how I feel about the season so far. I mean,
First of all, let me ask you this question: Who do you support?
City.
Yes,
Okay.
I mean, you
Go
might
ahead.
be 25 and below, or 20 years old and below.
Yeah, that Manchester United I love more than anything else, everything else. But the reason I grew up supporting Manchester United died not watching football. Because in his own words, Manchester United, as it is, not a football team. I asked him, but look at the class of 92. You know what bro tell me? My granduncle, Uncle Leonard. Name another one. After Scholes and whatever his name is, name another team. Ferguson, you can say, is a young team. He buys players. He bought all of them. Cantona, buy. Rio, buy. Vidic, buy. Stam, buy. Rooney, buy. Van Nistelrooy, buy. Keep naming, buy. He's not lie. Ferguson is the coach with the record of transfer records broken in history of football. He broke it the most times. It was low, and in the market he was in, a player was worth 5 million, 10 million. But who else had a stadium over 50,000? Nobody. And at that time, Old Trafford was 90,000 strong with the terraces and standing quarters. So financially, nobody couldn't compete with Ferguson. You see the Kenfield Park decline now. Before Hurricane Maria had an academy on that park. Hillside Connection was the name of that team. And you see when they clear in the field, Kenfield, 6 years later, I coached 4 football teams in that time. If I had stick with United, I would have quit football. Like real talk, I would have get fed up with it and I'd have just leave it alone. Because
Jordan not there.
Huh?
Jordan not there, man.
But of course it's me not there. All for each marketing is my company.
Okay.
Yeah, man. You see, like plenty people don't understand, right? For me, you see, football is what I need. If you say I don't have football in my life, I just get crazy. I just get vexed with everybody. I don't want to work. I had to quit my job. Also I live in Marigot because I couldn't get football how I want in town. So I moved to Kalibishi and then I get a job. I'm in Marigot now. I coach in the team because football is what I chase in. Football is what I want. The World Cup coming to us next. Nobody never care about that.
You said in the Caribbean?
But in CONCACAF, but since 2017.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Since 2017, we were going to get extra qualifying spots. What happened after that? The government started to build fields on the playing fields. But again, they wanted the World Cup to go to Morocco and not to America and Canada. It have public knowledge where Francine Baron Roberts, or whoever her name is, on the 2 years we had to kick Patrick John out of the FA because of corruption in FIFA. You want to vote for Morocco in a meeting when they're talking about giving Dominic a thing. So it's like, you check. But in terms of the EPL and what we're watching, and I'm not surprised. A lot of it not surprising. Rodri, City, let's talk about it. Stood out. That is a man that kept the midfield moving last season. When you see he used to come into midfield, that is how we beat Liverpool. He just come in the midfield and dance and stroll around, faking fellas left, right, and center, dominate almost every game. He out. So the team not gonna look the same. Bernardo out. Regardless of what anybody say, Bernardo is our maestro. So once he's not there, bad news. Second of all, that's the first game I ever see Foden pass the ball so much for Haaland. Like that is a thing that doesn't happen. And you can see it in Haaland body language. Once Foden pick up the ball, he stop running. He make a run, but he just expect to run in the empty hole and just throw his hands up in the air. You see the 2 passes Foden give him, he almost trip on the ball because he wasn't expecting the ball to come. If you use a ball, man, and you know a man doesn't pass for you, that is what has happened to you when the man pass for you. You just trip on the ball because you're expecting that ball to come and meet you. However, City falling in the same trap as a lot of them other teams. Why we signed Phillips and we had Lavia? Why are we trying to do away with Palmer and buy some other youth and Palmer there, McAtee there? Look who'd have to replace De Bruyne, Foden. So it's like it's the same thing. Probably mistake all English teams make. You build an elite academy, you train some of the best players in the world, and then you just give them to other teams to make money on them and to benefit from them and to benefit from sell-on clauses.
But you know, we had a conversation about that, not on here, but about the academy scenario. And I know you made some good points about United and, you know, buying players and stuff like that. But somebody asked me the other day, why isn't United producing some of the same players like the class of 92? And one of the things that I was saying was, I think, you know, money plays a part into it. You know, when Roman Abramovich came to Chelsea, he was able to fund the academy, and the academy was able to attract the best young players, and that's what Chelsea has been able to do. Now, City basically doing the same thing, and they're producing Cole Palmers and they're producing Phil Fodens and those type of players. Even Sancho came from City academy, right? Those players. But the team that had the money, for like you said, and I agree with you on that point, it seemed like once they get to the point and they build the team, they forget the academy. The academy just becomes almost like another cash cow for the club, just to, you know, to sell players, right? So that's a good point. That's a good point. I agree with that.
But you make a good point about Lavia. That man, and City did put a buyback clause on that man, but it seemed they would rather get the money from the selling than to bring to
the buyback clause was only valid in the Southampton contract. Whenever they sell him on, the buyback clause will automatically become null and void. So the only way you could have activated the buyback clause is when Chelsea make the bid. Then I think they had like a week or 2 weeks. That's why the deal don't really confirm and big hoopla don't happen yet, because City still have time to say, well, hey, look all your money, give us back our player.
Yeah.
You check?
I feel like Phillips was a buy just to make the British quota, because I really don't see the logic behind that.
But again, Lavia would have make the English quota because he's a young player under 18. He would have make the quota eventually. They didn't need to buy Phillips. I mean, he had a good summer with England, and Southgate make Mr. look better than he actually is. Mr. was a rubbish waste of time. It's because of Mr. we lose our Euros. You check, Mr. is a waste. You check Mr. Control, just like Lukaku, heavy and ugly. You check Mr. Not a man to be in City midfield. Like from time you see Mr. I don't know how. That's probably since Mangala, that's probably the worst signing I see City make. Mr.'s worse than Delph. Like Mr. just not in it at all. You check?
Yeah,
but
you can tell
one more
really don't favor me.
It have one thing again and to talk about, and that is the Mason Greenwood situation. Because now, again, all them things there, because now I study football, because my plan football team that would travel regionally and generate income for my community that way. You check? So I was case studying football. It's not just looking at it piece by piece. And you see Foden and Greenwood, like their career trajectories are equal, or how they call it, they directly correlated to the quality of their team. So After the Euros or the World Cup, when they both got sent home for the strippers, right?
In Iceland, yeah. Yep.
Right. Pep suspend Phil. Go home. Go and meet your girlfriend. You supposed to have a baby. Go and make your baby. Be a young man. Go away. Greenwood go back to United. Hey, my boy, you have to be our main guy. So don't worry about what them fellas say. Them man lying on you, man. But that is all right. We get suspended, whatever. Don't worry about that. Go and score them goals you just score for us. One of the first things I noticed about Greenwood when he came back, he stopped using his right foot. And when he started, that was the little he had. Because you never know if he going left or right. He stopped going right. Always left. Then the next thing that happened now, his friend died. 18-year-old, one of the most recognizable faces in the world. Your closest friend died. You have no time to grieve. No one care because you have to kick that ball. And you have the biggest fan base in the world. Your fans don't care about your dead friend. You have to come and kick that ball. Nobody take the boy mental health. I listened to the video. My honest opinion, if you
Oh shit. He ended up dropping off.
We lost
Yeah,
him
yeah.
there.
But see if you can call back. We'll hang around for a little bit, just a couple more minutes. See if you can call back because you were making some good points there. But yeah, I mean, he makes some good points, man. He makes some good points. But the point I was gonna kind of push back on what he said about Fergie buying players, and that's true. That's true, and I'm gonna dispute that. But I think this still the core of what Fergie had was still academy players. The core. He was buying some some good pieces to put in and around it, Ferdinand and Stam and all them guys. But the core of what he had was still Giggs and Scholes and all these players, right? So I think he made some very good points. I'm Jordan there, and that may be a conversation that we can have. Maybe we should set up something with him to talk more about football in Dominica and stuff because he sounds like he's verbal.
Yeah, he's very passionate about it. They're always on Facebook talking about it, ranting about the state of football in Dominica as
Yeah,
well.
man.
So
So yeah, Jordan. So I mean, I don't know if you can join back on, but if not, I'll reach out to you and we could talk and see if we can set up a show where we could talk about some of these things because that's one of my concerns as well. Sports in Dominica and what are we doing to help push? Because sports as an industry is huge in every country. So I don't understand why that's not things that the Caribbean governments are looking at. Investing in infrastructure and grassroots for sports, right? Because we create a lot of. I mean, look at it. You have to go far. You look at has produced a significant number of international footballers who have played at the highest level. We produce cricketers who challenge the best, cricketers in the world. We have athletes today. We had a young girl from St. Lucia running in the World Championship final. I think she plays fifth, right, in World Athletics. We had the guy from Grenada that was a 400-meter champion. So the Caribbean produces, a lot of really, really good athletes. I think he joined back. Let me just let him back in. Are you gonna?
all right.
Hold on a second. Hey, you there?
Yes,
Hey, can you hear us?
me to shine, boy. My phone want to hold me down.
Yeah, go ahead. You're making a good point there, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, so what I was saying now is that okay, so boom, you get to the point now where you in a relationship with a woman, you under your pressure, you come home, you checking girl, baby pass that now. She tell you, boy, I'm not in the mood, I'm not in your story tonight there. And you tell her, move her foot and just lie down there, do my thing. As a grown man, that does happen in relationships. And what the world get to experience, which is something no one acknowledging, that is a very private moment between a common law couple. Because at Mr. level of life and success and achievement, psychologically, that is his wife. He nobody else but her in terms of a romantic way, in a romantic way. And he with her for the last year and a half, on and off. That's the man of common law wife. They're not married, but if he die today, she can get what he have.
I
Unless he
think they
do
just had
sign
a
it over
baby
to his.
too.
You check.
Yeah.
So again, that is and then I'd always say that the court going to look at Mr. Mental State. They're going to look at all the situation and they're going to rescind the charges. They were never going to charge Mr. They were just going to give him a slap on the wrist, make him do some community service, which is what he do some classes, anger management, whatever, and they're going to let him go. At the end, it would have always been the choice of United. But United has, for the last, since the Glazers take over, they operate on social media. So they will always tell you Sanchez was a good signing because Sanchez had how much ever million likes on Twitter, most liked transfers, whatever story or rubbish nonsense. They will tell you that was a good signing. They will look at Garnacho. Garnacho make the Argentina senior men's team before Easter United start. Even as sober parents, he was playing for Argentina. That make them, they make them realize him and good. And it's the same thing they're doing. Look,
so
for
funny
me,
because
that kind of team there, again.
Manchester United remind me of West Indies. You know? Every time I think about it, every time I think about it, it's just pure caution. It's like
Yeah, man.
it's madness.
Yeah, man. It's the same thing because now, okay, boom. I see Sancho play false nine for a few times. I would play for Sancho as a false
I
nine
agree.
because I cannot have a player who has scored 100+ goals in a position. If we have to be fair about Rashford's career, if Rashford was clinical like Mbappe don't have goals like him. Because the amount of chances Rashford threw, if he have 150 goals, if he was more clinical, he have 500 already. The boy get chances and the boy does throw, right? You play Neyman on as a striker, you know that doesn't work.
Shouldn't
Bruno,
making it not all there.
But I feel
Bruno
you're
is the
coach.
most.
You say you coach football, right? So
Yeah,
Rashford,
man.
in my opinion, right? Rashford, I feel right. You know, we talk about
Mm-hmm.
players having all the tools. Rashford have all the tools. My thing, I think Rashford problem is in his head. Rashford doesn't play. Rashford to me don't play the game with his head. To me, I watch him play when he have to. Oh man, he drop off again. Yeah.
It's magging me.
But yeah, so we're gonna log off, but this is a conversation that we should keep going. We'll talk to Jordan and we'll try and set up something else to bring him on with us and talk a little bit about football and the general, state of sports and thing in Dominica. Because he sounds like he's very knowledgeable about it, and I look forward to having that type of conversation. I know it's already 9:09. We want to thank everybody who tuned in with us. We will be back again, obviously. You guys let us know if you guys want us to come on, more often or whatever. Let us know. We'll be willing to.
Hopefully, the results.
I hear people say last year when United was doing good, we was there, and then when they fall off, we wasn't there. So we're gonna try our best to keep it consistent. Look, he come back one more time. Let me just let him come out and close what you're saying so we can go because we're already over. Yeah, Jordan, go ahead. We're trying to just close up, so go ahead and make a final point. Can you hear me? Yo. Jordan, can you hear me?
Technical difficulties on Jordan's side.
Difficulties. All right, it doesn't seem like we can hear him. I don't know if he's speaking. All right. So anyway, everybody, so we'll be back. If you guys want us to come on, more often, we can come on more often. We're gonna try to set up some watch-alongs and stuff for sure. And we want you guys to call in, give your opinions on the different, things going on in the sport. Jordan, Shiv, thanks for calling, and anybody else, don't hesitate to call in. And we want to say thank you everybody for tuning in tonight.
Yes, I.
And hopefully next week we'll have a W. All right? Later. All right, later, everybody. Thanks. Bye.